Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. I'm not really into, at least yeah, these card discussions of new cards. It's not really the type of content that I go to, but it's actually coincidence since this new counter trap is directly linked to something that I've been thinking about last week and also came up this weekend at the European Championship. So there are like three different topics that I'm going to discuss here in the video. The first one of course is this new card, a new counter trap card from Circuit Break called Shudline. Shudline is again a new counter trap. It's like a combination between the regular Solemn Judgment and Solemn Strike. You know, this new card Shudline is that you can negate the activation of a particular card, either a spell or trap card or a monster effect. So it only negates like the activation and the effect, and you destroy the card afterwards. So yeah, sadly Shudline doesn't negate like the monster summon, just like Solemn Judgment does, for example. But still, there's one particular cost. Well, there's like one cost for this card, if you can call it a cost, is that the activated card needs to be in the same lane as, I mean on the field, as your Shudline. And then it's basically like a free Dark Bribe, you know, free negation. So that's already very nice, and the first thing that comes to mind is, again, as we see from link format, is a card placement and the position you actually placing, first of all, your monster cards with the link summon, and now with this card and other cards from the past, like I believe it's called Blasting Fuse, a very old card, is the fact where you place your spells and traps is going to be much more important, or more important compared to what we are used to now. So this new card, definitely very good. Card placement is going to be very, very important. Second thing that I want to address here is of course Solemn Strike, and the possibility that with our next list, presumably like August, maybe early September, that possibly Solemn Strike is going to get a hit soon. Same what happened in the OCG. Solemn Strike has been put to 2 in the OCG, and yeah, with new counter traps being released, and of course what happened with Solemn Judgment and Solemn Warning in the past, we can definitely see Solemn Strike getting the hit, and it's getting the reprint, right, in the new packs, if I'm not mistaken. So first they need to sell these packs, and after that eventually Strike will get the hit soon. It's also like we are not really the 100% staple, but a lot of lists are like main decking multiple copies, either they are maxing it out in their main deck, Solemn Strike that is. The third important topic, and that's the biggest reason why I wanted to make this video, is the fact that with, you know, link format here in the TCG coming up soon, and these new cards that are being created, where card placement is going to be very important, is the fact that with locals it's not too important, but I can believe, or I can imagine on regionals level, and maybe even YCS level, the fact that Konami I think has to force players to use the new playmats, or use new playmats that have like the zones, the monster zones, the extra deck zones, spell and trap zones, pendulum zones, everything on it, you know, the new Yu-Gi-Oh field. So yeah, it's hard. I'm not really sure if Konami can actually force people to use new playmats, or at least playmats with monster zones on it, the new zones on it. So yeah, possible solution to this is that something that I heard last weekend at the European Championship. Not really sure who told me this, but I think it's definitely an argument that can put up, and someone from Konami, Adrian Fox, you know, very important person here from Konami here in Europe. You definitely know the guy if you're from Europe. Is that they're going to look into it, is the fact that when you register yourself for something like, let's say, a regionals or a YCS, a player gets like a free playmat with, you know, the whole monster zones on it, so pretty much the new field intact. And yeah, Konami is not forcing you to play with the new playmat, since, you know, people like to prefer playing with their own playmat, but at your own risk. So if you're playing like your own playmat without the monster zone, you'll always be at a disadvantage when you're at a dispute with your opponent. You know how it goes with the life points tracking, like the player who's using the calculator is always at the disadvantages versus a player who uses like the notepad and keeps track with like a pencil. You know, this is probably going to be the same. If you're using, if you're in link format and if you're using still your old playmat without any zones, you're always going to be at a disadvantage, and you know how it goes, right? Card placement at your opponent. No, you placed your card there, and I'm like, no, it's right underneath this. So it's always going to be like, worth against worth, if that's correct English. So it's going to be interesting how Konami is going to address this specific thing here, if it's already a problem, like forcing players to use new playmats, or at least playmats with monster zones, or at least let it up to the player to decide if he wants to use his own playmat without zones. But you know, there is like this high risk that he will always be at the disadvantage position. So if you have any opinions about this, feel free to leave them down below. But new card Shotline, highly excited for this new card. Monster zones and both spell and trap card zones, again, going to be very important. Okay guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.